Kiwi rich lister Simon Henry is under fire for describing celebrity chef Nadia Lim as a little bit of Eurasian fluff. In an interview with the NBR, he criticised the photo of Lim in My Food Bag's prospectus before being publicly listed. To respond to this, MasterChef judge Nadia Lim joins us, as well as Nina Santos from the National Women's Council. Thank you both very much for being with me. Nina, I will chat with you soon, but Nadia, if I can come to you first. Have you ever met Simon Henry?
No, never. Never ever.
Right, okay, so that is quite interesting. Now, let me bring up the quote then, because he has lots to say about you. He says, when you've got Nadia Lim, when you've got a little bit of Eurasian fluff in the middle of your prospectus with a blouse unbuttoned showing some cleavage, and that's what it takes to sell your script, then you know you're in trouble. There's a lot to unpack there, so let's just start.
Yeah, there was more. There was quite a lot
there
more.
There was more. But let's break it down and look at the term he uses, Eurasian fluff. How do you feel about being described like that?
Well, to be honest, I'm a tough cookie. Like, I've had enough years and support and opportunities to build up a tough skin and become resilient and confident. But my big issue with it is how it saddens me how other people, women and women of colour and other ethnic backgrounds who might see themselves in those comments, how they would feel and how they would feel hurt. And I had the chance to reflect on these comments when I caught my flight from Christchurch back down home to Queenstown yesterday. And my air host was this lovely, also Eurasian girl who, she was quite a bit younger than me and she was clearly of Asian descent. And we were sitting opposite each other and I smiled at her and she smiled back at me. And then it hit me, I was like, I wonder what she thinks when she reads comments like this or hears things like that. Like, that's what's so damaging, young people who hear these things over and over again, who then over time somehow start to believe that maybe they're less capable, have less to give and contribute than their peers. And that's why comments like this are so damaging. It's water off a duck's back to me, but it's for other people that I feel really, really sad and disappointed for. I mean, he's in a great position of power and influence, and he could use that to celebrate diversity and inclusion and be a great example and leader. But no, he chooses not to. And
I think I can hear your kids in the background there. And I guess, these kind of comments rub off on them too. What about the part of the quote where it says you've got a blouse unbuttoned showing some cleavage? We've got the photo that he is specifically mentioning here. I would ask you, he also accused you of being sensual. And I would ask you, do you think you were being sensual? But I actually don't think that's even an appropriate question. I don't think it matters, does it?
Well, I was cooking on a barbecue. I don't know if that counts, but I had to read it a few times. I was like, huh, really? I just think people just go look at the photo and then look at his comments and it says it all. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Nadia, what is your message to Simon Henry this morning?
You know what? I was thinking that. I was like, if I saw him, first off, I'd say probably go get some unconscious bias training. But also, if I met him, I would say, hey, Simon, come on in. I'm going to make you a cup of tea. Let's sit down, have a corrido. And I would, very quickly show him that I'm not just a little bit of Eurasian fluff. Yeah.
Has he reached out to you at all?
No, I don't. I somehow doubt he will, but yeah, that's all good. I'd prefer that, if he's I just want him to kind of open up his mind, and see the potential in that it comes in all shapes and forms and sizes and ages and cultural backgrounds. And if he did that, if he could think like that, I think it would open up a world of other amazing opportunities for him. So fingers crossed for him.
Celebrity chef Nadia Lim, thanks very much for being with us, Nadia. And I want to come to you now, Nina, from the National Council of Women. We would like to think that this is an isolated incident. Is this indicative of wider issues?
It's not. I think we definitely need to acknowledge the broader context to which these comments were made. It just proves that misogyny and sexism are alive in New Zealand. Even when we're considered a frontrunner in terms of gender equality and women's rights, there's a lot a lot more to be done. And I think that's evident in the rising tide of misogynistic abuse towards women in politics, women in business, women in every workplace, everywhere.
What is it about the term Eurasian fluff that you would have an issue with?
I personally, as an Asian woman myself, I was really offended by it. But also, it's just really saddening because it's impossible to disassociate the racial aspect of this and the racial microaggressions and the reality that a lot of women in color experience this every day. And I just think it's extremely dismissive and condescending for that comment to have been made. I think it's inappropriate. I'm not sure as to what reasons he intended for that, but I can say that Asian women of color are hypersexualized in the media, and this is unfortunately not an isolated incident. It needs to be confronted.
Is it the term Eurasian or is it the way in which it's used?
Both. I haven't heard the term Eurasian in a while, but also I think the issue was the context in which it was used. The aim was to diminish Nadia, a successful, highly respected celebrity and an entrepreneur. And it's sad that there are so many structural barriers for women to succeed. And when a woman finally succeeds, the abuse doesn't end. She's still diminished when she's in power.
Nadia, I believe you're still there listening to Nina. How does it feel to hear that kind of support, but also to hear that this is obviously a wider and systemic issue within business?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Nina. And I think you articulate it very well and explain it really well. But I totally agree. I mean, you do see it everywhere. I hear it from a lot of people still. So it is a bit sad, isn't it, that we're still in this position. However, I would also say, and I think someone mentioned earlier, that it goes both ways, and it's not just women sometimes, and it's all sorts of people. So it's a problem across lots of different areas, but yeah.
Celebrity chef Nadia Lim and Nina Santos from the National Council of Women, thank you both very much for being with us.